Welcome back everyone. Hi, if you're new, my name is Tori and today I'm going to be binge reading the Shadow and Bone trilogy before the Netflix adaptation releases next week. I don't know why I've been putting this off for so long. This trilogy has been sitting on my shelf for a very long time now, and I have just been telling myself that I have so much time before the show. It's gonna be fine. I'll get to it. I'll read it before the show releases. And now here we are, less than a week away from the premiere, and I have not done anything. I'm gonna fix that this weekend. It's Saturday. It's a little after 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm filming this intro early because I do have a busy day ahead of me, just a lot of running around to do. So I probably won't even be able to settle down with this trilogy until like sometime very late afternoon or even later this evening. So that's my plan for the weekend, to make my way through this trilogy. And even if it extends into next week, that's completely fine. I'm off next week. I took vacation, thank goodness. So I'm just gonna be relaxing and reading and just catching up on a lot of things next week, which is exciting. And I want to get this trilogy read before the show because I'm someone who likes to read, you know, the books before the adaptation releases, and I want to watch the show with everybody else because I'm sure you know, if you have been on the internet for any length of time, you know the internet spoils things so quickly. You could be looking at something completely unrelated and be spoiled for something. So I don't want to wake up on Friday morning to memes or jokes or like anything to do with Shadow and Bone until I have read this trilogy and watched the show. So for those who may be unfamiliar, Shadow and Bone is the original trilogy in the Grisha universe created by Leigh Bardugo. The first series consists of Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising. And then we have a duology, which consists of Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. And then our third series in this universe is the King of Scars duology, which is King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. And Rule of Wolves just came out not too long ago. I think like 3 weeks ago. So of all these series in the Grisha universe, I've only ever read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. And I love Six of Crows. Six of Crows was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I still remember all of those characters, the world. I remember the plot really well, and it's been years since I've read that duology. I wasn't too crazy about Crooked Kingdom, but Six of Crows more than made up for it. So far, I've been staying away from anything related to the show. I haven't watched any trailers. I don't know who the cast is. I've just been kind of going blind with this information. But I did find out, unfortunately, that one of the characters from Six of Crows is going to be in the TV show adaptation. And so that's making me wonder how far into the Grisha universe is the show going to extend, because I do not have time to get to King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. I just don't think that's going to happen. So I was pretty confident before that I could just read, you know, the Shadow and Bone trilogy and be done with it. But now, knowing that one of the characters from Six of Crows is going to be in it, it's really making me reconsider. So that's really the plan for this weekend. I'm just excited to finally dive into this trilogy. I don't even know why I didn't read Shadow and Bone before reading Six of Crows. I think because at the time I was hearing that you didn't need to read them, like they were set in the same universe but they weren't connected. But now I'm feeling like there are some deeper connections that I was not aware of at the time that I read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. So in this, it sounds like we're following two main characters. We have our first character, Alina, who is an orphan, and she eventually joins the military, it sounds like. And during an attack with her unit or her regiment in the military, she discovers that she has hidden powers. And then we also have our character, the Darkling, who is, you know, supposedly the leader of this Grisha military. I am just looking forward to diving into that and just seeing how it goes. So yeah, that's gonna be the plan. I'm gonna take you along with me this weekend. This vlog is gonna be completely spoiler free, so you can feel free to watch from beginning to end. I'm not gonna talk about any major plot details. I'm just going to be talking about my general feelings as I'm making my way through the trilogy, just some characters, overarching stories, things like that, but no like in-depth spoiler details. I would not spoil this trilogy for you guys because it's so huge. So yeah, that's the plan. This is the start of the vlog, and this is going to be an experience for both of us because I don't vlog. We're going to see how this goes and just try it out. Good morning, guys. So it's Sunday. It's almost 11 a.m. and I'm a little over 100 pages into Shadow and Bone, which last night did not go as planned. I wanted to get so much more reading done, if not completely finish this book, but what are you gonna do? Ended up on FaceTime for an hour, made some dinner, scrolled through TikTok, so that really took a few hours off of my night. But so far the progress has been pretty smooth. I'm actually really enjoying this book, but I have been thinking a lot about the tie-in to Six of Crows, because I realized this map doesn't have Ketterdam on it, which is where Six of Crows takes place. And so now I've just really been thinking about, like, how are we gonna get from Shadow and Bone to Six of Crows? Like, I want to see the connection a little bit more, but I mean, this has just really been a really fun, really entertaining story so far, and I just want to see where it goes. So in this, we're following our main character, Alina, and when she was really young, unfortunately, she became a war orphan, and she was raised at this Duke's estate with other abandoned, other orphan children like her, and she was raised there with her best friend. And so Alina, when she became of age, she joined the military with her best friend, and that's really where our story starts. We do get like a little bit of a prologue, but our story starts with both of them in the military, and they're preparing to go into this space known as the Shadowfold. And I want to know a little bit more information about the Shadowfold. We just know that, you know, people cross through here and it's extremely dangerous, that there are creatures in the Shadowfold. I just actually learned last night how the Shadowfold came about, how it was created, but I'm just a little bit confused as to why people would even want to go into the Shadowfold. So Alina, her and her unit, they're preparing to go into the Shadowfold, and they get in there, and almost immediately they're attacked by the creatures that live in the Shadowfold. And I kept reading the synopsis to make sure I wasn't going to spoil anything by saying this, but as they're being attacked, Alina realizes that she has, well, actually she doesn't realize, but as they're being attacked, the powers that are lying dormant inside Alina kind of come out and save everybody during this attack. And so that event catches the attention of the Darkling, who is like the leader of the Grisha military. And I love the Darkling so much. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm really enjoying his character so far. And so I'm really loving the dynamic between him and Alina right now. And it's good. It's really good. I'm enjoying the dialogue. I'm enjoying kind of seeing the world unfold. And I feel like I'm learning a little bit more about the Grisha and the rankings and everything from this than I was in something like Six of Crows, which, you know, I guess is expected because this is the original trilogy. But I mean, this is good. I did have some preconceived notions about what I was in store for going into this. I just was expecting it to read really young, but there have actually been some pretty intense moments of violence that just made me go like, whoa, like what is happening? What is going on here? And then also just the way that the story is written has this really mature tone to it that I wasn't expecting. The story is told in first person perspective, but I'm actually enjoying being inside Alina's head as she's getting to know, getting to know her powers, getting to know what she can do, being with the Darkling. Her thinking is a lot more mature than I was expecting it to be, which is kind of refreshing. It definitely is turning all of my expectations upside down, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's really good. So I'm just gonna see where it goes. I do want to finish this book today and get to, where is it? Get to the second one, Siege of Storm, before the end of the day today. So that is the plan. I'm gonna keep reading, but yeah, this has my attention. I'm enjoying it. I've been marking it up, which is always a good sign. I've been using my book darts, and usually when I'm really marking up with book darts, it means I'm enjoying it. So I'm gonna compare maps really quickly. So this is Six of Crows, and Ketterdam is all the way down here. Then you look at the Shadow and Bone map. Stay with me here. Look at the Shadow and Bone map, and there's no Ketterdam. What? I don't understand. What is going on? That was a really bad demonstration. I love the Darkling so much. I don't know what that says about me, and I don't think I want to, but he's a really good character. Just even the things that he says to Alina, they're so good. I love that about Leigh Bardugo's books. This is something that I've noticed. I've read Ninth House now, and then I've read not the Shadow and Bone, I've read the Six of Crows duology, and her dialogue, the dialogue between her characters is just always so sharp and so on point, and it is in here as well, and it's just making me really happy. Alright guys, so it is currently Wednesday and I'm starting to get a little bit nervous because it's Wednesday and we're getting down to the wire here. The show starts only in a couple of days. I think most shows release at like midnight on the day of the premiere, or maybe like 2 a.m. Eastern time. I don't know. But all I know is we're running out of time for this vlog and this progress. So I finished Shadow and Bone. I finished it actually over the weekend. I made my way through this pretty quickly. Whatever the last clip you saw was, I finished the book like a few hours after that. I really enjoyed this. This was just, I think, a solid fantasy, a solid intro to this trilogy. I love the Darkling so much. There came a point in this book where, actually I marked it. I think it was chapter 15. I was marking up chapter 15 because it was just reveal after reveal after reveal. And I was just reading it like, oh my goodness, this is just like changing everything that I knew about this story and the Darkling and everything. And just a lot of the things that I thought I knew going into the book, and even some of the updates I was giving you guys like earlier into the book, so many of those turned out to not be accurate. Just if you pick this up, just keep reading and just so much is going to come to light. So I just really enjoyed this overall. And so after I finished this, I went right into Siege and Storm on Sunday, but I didn't make too much progress on Sunday, and then I just have not really been picking up the book for the last few days. Just been doing so many other things. But right now I am currently on page 148 in Siege and Storm, and I need to finish this book today. Like there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I need to buckle down and finish Siege and Storm so I can go right into Ruin and Rising. But this is moving along really well. Every time I think this book is about to suffer from second book syndrome, something happens that just really pulls me back into the story. So I'm really enjoying the direction that this is going. We're meeting a lot of new characters in this book and just exploring the Grisha rankings a little bit more and the world a little bit more. So I was talking a little bit about the map in Shadow and Bone and just saying how, you know, why isn't Ketterdam on the map? I wonder what's going on here. Man, all I needed to do was get to Siege and Storm and the map just opens up so much more. So that was really exciting to see. And I just recently met a character who I'm pretty sure is one of the main characters in King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, which I have not read yet. But I don't know why I was so excited when I read his name. So I think subconsciously I remember that he's a character in King of Scars. So I just met him, and I think that's amazing that these characters are starting to come into play a little bit more in this original trilogy. So there isn't too much I can say about Siege and Storm since it is book 2, but I think there are a lot of parts that are lulling a little bit because of a lot of things that happened at the end of book 1 have really set Alina on a different path right now. She's really been at odds with the Darkling and the things that he stands for after everything that happened in book 1. So we're really kind of seeing the ramifications of that play out in book 2. I have so many questions still about Alina because, you know, I mentioned in book 1 that she used her powers accidentally, but now she's really starting to, I guess, come into them a little bit more. But I want to know more about her background. Like, why is she this powerful? Where did she come from? Because we knew from the first book that she is a war orphan. This heat is really hot on my back. We knew from the first book that she's a war orphan, and so now I want to know, well, who are her parents? And that question has been in the back of my mind a lot lately. The plan is to finish this book today and just go right into Ruin and Rising. This needs to happen. I'm just gonna be binging binging the rest of this from today and into tomorrow because I really want this vlog to go up before the show premieres. So I am in for a big binge read for the next like 24 hours. And then this is kind of funny. I was mentioning like in book 1 how I was really enjoying being in Alina's perspective and like her thinking is just so mature, and it still is, but this is still a little bit angsty. I found there are some things that start happening towards the end that just get a little, that really bring out the angst. But I mean, this was, Shadow and Bone was still a really enjoyable read. So I'm gonna continue on with Siege and Storm and see where this goes. And we need to get into Ruin and Rising. I think I'm just gonna be up all night long just binge reading Ruin and Rising because I need to wrap this up. So wish me luck. All right guys, so it is Thursday. It's 10:41 a.m. on Thursday, and I'm panicking just a little bit, not a lot, but like it's kind of growing inside of me right now because this is the last possible day that I can read the Shadow and Bone trilogy before the show starts in like a little over 12 hours, like literally 13 hours. So I am very, very quickly running out of time, but I'm not panicking yet because I am on the third book right now, Ruin and Rising. I finished Siege and Storm last night and moved directly into Ruin and Rising. And so now I am 243 pages into Ruin and Rising, and there are 417 pages. I can knock this out in a couple of hours, maybe 3. That's not a problem. But I also want to get this vlog up before the show comes out too. Luckily, I've been editing the vlog throughout the week as I've been reading. So really the only part that needs to be edited and put into the vlog is this last part right here with Ruin and Rising. So that is the plan for this morning, to finish Ruin and Rising. But first I want to update you. So I did finish Siege and Storm last night. This was okay overall, but I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as Shadow and Bone. I enjoyed getting to meet some of the new characters and the world was opening up a lot, but there are some things that are going on throughout the story and then some things that start happening towards the end that just kind of knock down my enjoyment a little bit of the book. The first thing is definitely the angst. This is so much angstier than Shadow and Bone, and I think that was kind of detracting from the plot in some important places as the book was progressing. And then also with something like Shadow and Bone is just a really solid setup to the characters, the world, the problem. And so with Siege and Storm, this book is really focused on rebuilding, regrouping from the things that happen in Shadow and Bone. And so because of that, this book is really focused on politics and strategy, and we're seeing a lot of character interactions, a lot of character development. The lore is expanding about the Grishas, and it's just, you know, we're getting a lot of history in this book, which I thought was great. However, as I'm reading through it, I'm wondering, there's something missing from this book. It's not as engaging as it should be, and that's because of the Darkling. So in Shadow and Bone, Alina's relationship with the Darkling is just set up really well. The Darkling is introduced as this really strong character. He brings a lot of tension and a lot of urgency to the story because everything that he stands for becomes in opposition to the things that Alina stands for and the things that Alina wants. But because of that and because of who he is, the Darkling really moves the story forward because he's causing the characters to be constantly in motion, constantly acting. And so in something like Siege and Storm, where we're just primarily focused on regrouping, rebuilding, and focused on strategy, the Darkling's presence isn't as much of a factor in Siege and Storm in the way that it was in Shadow and Bone. And because of that, I think we are missing some of that important tension and urgency that was driving the story forward in Shadow and Bone. And now that we've lost that in this book, we're just heavily dependent on the characters to move the story forward. And that would have been great if I had developed some kind of attachment to the side characters in Shadow and Bone. I think Alina's character is written really well, and we all know now, I love the Darkling's character so much, but now that they're kind of separated in Siege and Storm, now it's like I have to find a way to become attached to these side characters that I don't really like. There are a couple of strong ones in the story. We meet one in here, I'm not going to spoil who it is, but we meet a really great new character in Siege and Storm who I really love. But some of the characters from the first book, like Alina's best friend Maul, he just really doesn't do anything for me as a character. I think I only feel something mildly toward his character because Alina really likes him and grew up with him and they have history there. But aside from that, there's not really too much that is driving my connection to a lot of the side characters in the Shadow and Bone books as a whole. I only really like Alina and the Darkling and maybe like 1 or 2 other side characters. But overall, I didn't dislike this book. I didn't love it though either. I definitely don't think Siege and Storm is a book that suffers from second book syndrome. Usually when something suffers from second book syndrome, a lot of the things that are happening in the story aren't really necessary. They aren't moving anything forward. They're just there for the sake of being there pretty much, but that's definitely not Siege and Storm. Like the things that the characters are trying to accomplish sets up Ruin and Rising perfectly. So this was a necessary book, but my cat is losing it in the background. That Siege and Storm, not amazing, not terrible. It was just okay. So Ruin and Rising though, I am really enjoying this. If things continue the way that they're going, this is definitely going to be my favorite of the trilogy. So much is happening right now. A lot of things from the first 2 books are coming back into play. There is a lot at stake right now. Like things are just really, really intense where I am in Ruin and Rising. So I'm gonna keep reading this. I have about 12 hours to just finally finish this, which is totally doable. I think I'm gonna be done with this by 1 o'clock. So I'm gonna check back in when I finish with the book. I'm gonna make myself a large cup of coffee and just finally finish up this trilogy. This week has just been so much fun. I can't remember the last time I just sat down and just was relaxed and could binge through an entire trilogy like this. So I have just really been enjoying myself and really been enjoying this world, and I think the show is going to be amazing. When I finish with the books, I'm finally going to allow myself to watch the trailer, and I'm so excited. This has been great. I hope you guys have been enjoying this vlog. I'm going to do one more check-in to wrap everything up, and that'll be it. You know that feeling when you're reading and you can't read fast enough? That is what's happening right now. This scene is so nuts and I can't take in the information fast enough. Okay guys, I am officially 100 pages away from the end of the book. So let's do this together. Let's finish this trilogy. I did it. I finished the Shadow and Bone trilogy. This is crazy. It feels like a bittersweet moment, quite honestly. I cannot believe I binge read this trilogy. 3 books over 5 days, 1,205 pages. I have not done anything like this in years. Oh my god, this was actually really exciting. I had so much fun doing this. If I had to rank them, I would say Ruin and Rising is my favorite of the trilogy, and then Shadow and Bone, and then Siege and Storm. I would like to formally take back all of the things that I said about Maul. I'm gonna take them back. He's fine. Ruin and Rising was so good. Those last like 150 pages or so, I mean, just epic. It felt so epic. I loved it. I love the way that it ended. Everything that happened in Siege and Storm definitely paid off in Ruin and Rising, and I'm happy with the way that it ended. No complaints, and I just had so much fun reading this. So thank you guys so much. If you made it to the end of the vlog, if you stuck in there reading this trilogy with me, it has been just a wild week. I really enjoyed it. I love Alina so much. I still really enjoy the Darkling. That is such a great good versus evil duo that I've read in a very long time. So it was so good. So good. So I do recommend this trilogy. This was great. This was a great trilogy as a whole. So now the exciting part, you guys. I am finally gonna allow myself to watch the trailer. We're gonna do that together right now. I can't wait. My cheeks hurt. I'm smiling so much right now. Okay, here we go. Oh, there's a lot of them. Okay, there's a teaser and there's like an official trailer. Let's watch the teaser. Why not watch both of them? Okay, here I go. Oh my god. It looks epic. I'm very excited. I can't wait to just sit down and binge this show when it releases at midnight. I can't wait. So that is the vlog, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there with me. It has been just such a fun week, so I hope you enjoy the Shadow and Bone TV show. Come back and let me know your thoughts about the show when you finish it. It's gonna be a great time. I'm very, very excited. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.